You're the man now. The present and future is you at quarterback. Kind of tell us your thoughts. You feel ready? I know you're a confident guy. I've interviewed you enough to know your confidence in your abilities. Just kind of tell us your thoughts on taking over as a starter.
I mean, well, first of all, I was one of my brothers, so I'm super, I feel for him, that he had to go through this and end the season short. But now that's my opportunity to step up. Like you said, I'm fully confident in my abilities to go out there and play quarterback. But that consists of a lot of things. Leadership. I think is the main thing, and that falls no matter where you are on the depth chart. I think I can bring that to the table. So leadership capability, my ability to operate the offense. I feel confident, and I'm excited for this test. It's a big test. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, tough time to come be, the quarterback, for the stretch." But I look at it as a challenge. I feel like it's something that, when I look back on, it's going to be, worthwhile. And I'm excited to, lead this group of guys through this.
So obviously we know about your perimeter running ability. You've shown that against Houston and again last week that you can take it to the house if you find a crease outside. Coach had indicated that maybe they'll run a little more triple option plays with you. He thinks that's your strength. Just kind of tell us your thoughts and how comfortable you feel directing the option offense.
I feel good. I've been in this offense for a while. So, it's my third year doing it. So I feel confident operating. I mean, obviously when different quarterbacks are in, you kind of, you call the game a little differently to their strengths. I am more of a runner type of quarterback. I could do both. I could pass when I have to. I could run when I have to. But I feel confident in terms of operating the offense where everyone's supposed to go, where people are supposed to be, when and when not to get into the right play. So I'm not questioning my ability. It's definitely not the time to start questioning myself. So I feel good. I'm excited to, work on the game plan today and build it over the week and get after it.
And in terms of throwing the ball, I mean, obviously that's something you've had to work on. You guys only threw one pass the other day. So, but coach mentioned yesterday that if you don't show that you can successfully throw the ball downfield, teams are going to stack the box with 11 guys. Can you talk about passing and having to, connect on some passes each game?
Most definitely. I mean, this offense has always been run first, and what happens is you set up the run, bring guys into the box, and that opens up the play action game. A lot of times this year, guys have been dropping guys, maybe because we haven't established the run well enough. But if there's an open guy, down the field, it's my job to hit him, and I believe I can do that. But we have to make sure that we establish all aspects of our offense. Running the football, that includes the offensive line being physical and getting to the next level. Getting the B-backs going, getting the ball on the perimeter, having the opportunity to run at quarterback, and that will slowly start to bring guys in, and then that'll open up the play action. So my passing ability, it's never been my best thing. My gift has always been my feet, but it's always something that I've worked on. I'm confident in that I can do. Last year, the Temple game, I got put in there. Had to make a throw, put it on the money. So it's something I'm confident in, and I'm ready to do when it's called.
Scott Wyckoff, WBAL.
Hey, Xavier, other than getting more reps, of course, as a starter, what's different this week for you as you move from Ty's backup to now starting quarterback?
Right. Well, I said in the press conference after the game that I've always prepared as if I'm the starter. I think as a leadership role, the quarterback is a leader, whether you're 1 on the depth chart or 8th on the depth chart. You got to carry yourself, as that leader. So in terms of that, I don't think that's changed. There's more emphasis, maybe more eyes on me. But at the end of the day, that's just called pressure. And, pressure is something I've always dealt with. I've dealt with it in this sport. I've dealt with it in high school and, the other sports. So I think not too much has changed because for me, I've always prepared as if I am the starter so that if that time were to come, I'd be ready and wouldn't have to get ready. So now it's here. And I think that'll pay off for me, being able to constantly prepare as a starter. But, just realize the direct effect that I have, on this program and on this team. Guys look at the, quarterback to go and lead them through battle. So I'm ready to do that, and I'm ready for the challenge.
What about Cincinnati? What have you seen from them in the video that makes them such a tough defense?
Yeah, I mean, well, clearly they're big, athletic. I mean, last year I sent I think they sent 9 out of their 11 starting, vendors to the NFL. So clearly they're, a dominant team, probably the best team in our conference, talking since the last couple of years, obviously. But, Navy football is different. You see all the time Navy can come into games, and even look at last year, some of the teams that we beat last year. Just a different style of offense. And a lot of guys that go up against us don't want to play that ground and pound type of football. So they're a great team, and we know that, but we're not coming in there afraid. We look at this as a great opportunity to go in and upset them. I like to say shock the world, but not shock us, because we go in there, we expect to win no matter who the opponent is. So like I said, I'm excited for the opportunity.
Does it help with how well you guys played against them last year that you're really only one possession away from possibly a win, to give you the confidence that, yeah, we can play with these guys and beat these guys?
I'd say definitely. I think, scores last year, and even when you look back at some of the games this year, it may not look like we're close in some instances, but if you look back at the film, we're close. We're a couple plays away on each drive that can just change the whole momentum of a game. So I think last year's ability to keep it close with them and produce is huge for us and our confidence going into this game. But like I said, confidence comes from preparation. So I think we're gonna have a good week of practice this week. We're gonna get ready to go mentally, physically, and we'll be all right this weekend.
Thanks, Xavier. Good luck.
Thank you.
Go to Kenny Dijon of US Lacrosse Magazine.
Hey, Xavier. Your first 3 quarters Saturday before the overtime, offense was a little stagnant, a little slow moving. So how big was it for you personally, with your confidence and your style of play, to score that touchdown, get a nice chunk playoff, and kind of use that to parlay into this next stretch of games for you?
Definitely. It's always a confidence booster, I'd say. Not even just scoring personally, but just driving the ball down the field, especially with the offense that we play. It's hard to do. You got to be perfect. You got to be just about perfect to move the ball down the field and score touchdowns. So even on that first touchdown, well, I guess the second one, that long drive we had where Anton Hall ran it in, that was huge. Confidence booster. It just lets you guys know, yeah, we can do this. We can move the ball. We're fine. We got a little stagnant. That can be, there's so many moving parts in this offense that it can come back to so many different things. But at the end of the day, being able to finish off in overtime and get a gash like that for 23 and, steal the deal for those guys in that day, for this team. Clearly it was big confidence booster for myself, coming into this game. Even though I already know, what I'm capable of and what I can bring to the table. But I think it was even bigger confidence booster for this team. Like I said, guys look at the quarterback, and that's the nature of the position. You could be the hero one week and the villain the next. And guys look at you to get you guys through battles. So I think it was huge for myself personally, but I think it was, huge for the team as well, going into this week.
And this would be the case whether you're backing up one week or starting the next. But, you obviously have an entire football team in your corner, but you also have an entire lacrosse team in your corner supporting you and cheering you on, rooting you on. What has their reaction to all of your football career been like, and how much do they support you while you're maybe taking a little time away from them to focus on football?
I can't thank them enough for how supportive each and every one of them. And it starts with Coach Amplo and the coaching staff. Before I even joined the lacrosse team, Coach Amplo always would talk to me. I had nothing to do with about playing lacrosse. It was always about how I was doing with football, how are things going here, bettering my leadership capabilities and things like that. So I'm always really, really appreciative of how they, let me do my thing over here and just continue to support me. And the guys on the team are always in my corner, always texting me. So it's a blessing to have, 2 sets of brothers behind you always.
And footwork, obviously so key to being a running quarterback period, and of course in lacrosse. So how do those skills kind of help you with each sport rather? How do they kind of bounce off each other there?
Yeah, I think footwork is the key to all athletes. I guess there's some sports that you don't really need it as much, but I think definitely for the sports that I play, footwork is key. And that's, again, God's gift that I've gotten. So I try to make sure I use that to the best of my ability. Being a running quarterback in this offense, it's huge to have good footwork. And I think that is something that is one of my strengths. So they do go hand in hand, which is good. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Thanks.
All right, we'll make another trip around. Wags.
Coach had indicated that Ty is going to stay involved, and it's good for his mental health to be able to, be involved and help you out. Can you talk about leaning on Ty and kind of getting advice from him? He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, most definitely. Me and Ty have always leaned on each other through good and bad. I don't know if you realize, but when one of us come off the sideline, whether it's a good drive or a bad drive, we always go to each other first. Maybe, if it's a bad play, we come to each other for a little emotional support before we're about to get ripped on by, the headman. But we've always leaned on each other, and all the quarterbacks have. So, I mean, of course, it's big for his mental health to stay involved. He has a great mind. He understands the offense well. It's always good to bounce ideas off of each other. So I'm just happy he's still here, in good spirits, helping us, to the end, which I don't expect anything else from him.
So obviously you have plenty of big game experience. I mean, you played at Army, and, at Mikey Stadium in West Point is about as big a moment as there can be, on the road at Houston. I mean, how much are you going to draw on that? I mean, it's not like you're, just fresh a backup who's never seen any action,
Yeah, I mean, you can't fake experience. I have a bunch of it. I've played in some big games, so I'm not going to overthink it. It's a football game. You got to go out there. You got to execute. You got to lead, and it's as simple as that. And most importantly, I'm going to make sure I go out there and have fun, because at the end of the day, that's what this game is all about. That's why I do it. That's why everyone risks and puts their bodies on the line, because we love this game and we want to have fun doing it. So I think when you get away from the reason why you do something, that's when you stop being good at it. So I'm going to go out there, have fun, make sure I lead, execute, and, play with everything I got to get this victory for this program.
I'm sure you've been able to talk to Coach Jasper since all of this occurred. I mean, probably Monday. I'm sure you guys had a nice conversation. What's Coach Jasper saying to you?
Coach Jasper's very supportive. He just tells me, this is, another opportunity to go out there and, get a win for this program. It's huge. But he's always talked about, to everybody, about having multiple guys ready at one time because of the amount of beating that this position takes in its offense. So he makes sure that all of his quarterbacks are ready at all times. So, this kind of played into everything that he's been preaching about staying ready, stay dialed in, which I've, took from him, and implemented into the way I prepare, each week. So it pays off. He's very supportive, and his job is to put us in the best position to be successful. He does that tremendously each and every week. Win or lose, he puts us in the best position possible to be successful. And that's what he's doing this week. So
Thanks.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Xavier, how fired up are you guys to have this opportunity to go to Cincinnati on the road and really get a win against such a quality program?
It doesn't really get much better than this. I mean, all of our dreams were to come and play big time college football. And, you're going up against some of the biggest teams in college football this next couple of weeks. So you have two ways you can look at it. You can be scared, you can be frightened. Oh, it's Cincinnati, they're ranked, they're big, they're this, and go out there and throw away an opportunity that, may never come around again. Or you can come in there and say, look at this opportunity we have on our hands. Let's go take this, and make some noise and prove to ourselves and to prove to everybody else that, we can do this and we're at this level for a reason. So it's exciting. It's a good opportunity. We got to come in there with the right mindset. And like I said, just prepare. I think everything else will take care of itself.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Kenny. Oh, no questions from you.
No more questions from me. Thank you.
Anyone, Wags, you have anything else? Wags?
I'm good, Josh.
I got one for you, Xavier. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the guys behind you now, Masai, Teddy, and Blake?
Yeah, so Masai, he's a senior. He's been in this offense for a while. I believe he's a very talented quarterback. I know everyone else does as well. I'm excited for him. He's always, been on the third string at the moment, but he's done a great job staying dialed in this entire time. And number one thing I commend about Masai has always been his attitude. He's never been down. He's never been selfish. He takes his reps as they come, and they'll be, obviously picked up because at the end of the day, I'm the only quarterback in the room that's ever started a game right now. Masai's gotten some reps here and there, but no one else has played. So it's, like I said, Jasper's job is always to get quarterbacks ready. We got to have quarterbacks ready to go. And I think right now that's huge. So I'm real proud of Masai. I'm excited for him to get more opportunities, more reps in practice, to feel more confident. In terms of Teddy, he's a bigger kid, great arm, physical runner. But, like I said, I think he did go to Naps. He played Naps last year. But like I said, hasn't gotten many reps at all. So he'll be getting some reps, this week as well. And same with Blake. He ran the option offense in high school. So he has great hands, can operate well. His footwork's up to par. But like I said, all these guys have very limited reps. So this week's going to be big for them in the weeks moving forward. It's getting them comfortable to that, just like, my time is ready. I was ready to go when this happened, just so that we have other guys that are ready to go because, we need that in our offense.
Obviously, we all know that there's been some struggles on the back end at times with some big plays being given up. I know that's been a point of emphasis with Coach Newberry. Can you just talk about, you and Elias and some of the other young corners and, the learning experiences and how you get better? I mean, obviously it didn't happen against Temple. That's a positive. And obviously you can't let it happen again against Cincinnati, which has a talented quarterback and talented receivers.
Yes, sir. Well, we just got to take a look at the film, which we've been doing for the past few weeks, and just see what the problem has been. And I think the main problem has just been communication. And so, we're just that's a big emphasis this week, is just communicating with the safeties, and so we can all get on the same page in the back end. And we rotate guys all throughout practice, so the amount of reps and trying to get that the feel of the play from everybody that's the second and third strings, just in case, because obviously anything can happen. They can be ready when Saturday comes. So yeah.
Obviously, you were out of the starting lineup for a couple games, but you earned your way back in. Just kind of talk about, it's a growing experience, a learning experience as you go, and you're going to have your ups and downs, but that shows me that you grinded even harder after Coach started Willie at the corner, and you had to come back, right?
Yes, sir. I had a pretty rough start, but again, it's just adversity, and all I have to do is just work hard, and control what I can control, and that's what's happening next and where I'm at. So, it just made me better. So.
And what are you seeing out of Cincinnati? Obviously, the quarterback is a veteran guy. He was a backup to Ritter for a while, and then he went to Eastern Michigan, had a good season. Now he's back. He's thrown for a lot of yardage. And I they lost a great receiver who's playing in the NFL now, but I'm sure they got great ones who have replaced him.
Yeah. Overall, they're a very solid offense. But we've had our experience this year with similar style of players and quarterbacks. So, it won't be anything new to us. But, again, we just got to work on what we have to work on, and we'll be ready.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Mbiti, I saw in your biography and your profile that you received an offer from Florida State. What went into your final decision to come to the Naval Academy and to play football and to go to school here?
Well, after the offer from Florida State, obviously, coaching staffs change all the time. So, things happen. And then, as time went on in high school, I kind of just saved the course, let my coaches do the work when it comes to recruitment, and Navy came into play. And I've always preached to myself, life over football. And so, obviously this is my best bet, and that's why I'm here. So
last week, you guys were able to shut down Temple in that drive. in the overtime and really take their passing game away? Something you can really build on this week as you hit the road to take on Cincinnati?
Yes, sir. We definitely need that momentum going into it. We got a lot of strong-minded guys, and I think that that overtime victory is always like a boost in morale. And yeah, we definitely need that this week.
As you might imagine, we've been talking to Xavier a lot today, earlier, about his playing lacrosse and how that's helped him as a football player. How did playing lacrosse for you in high school at a high level help you to what you're doing now in the defensive backfield for Navy?
Well, yeah, it's sort of similar to playing like DB, because I played defensive midi in high school, and so it's just being able to like mirror guys and cut them off and stuff like that, and so like it definitely ties in a lot with playing corner. So yeah, it helped.
And do you feel a little bit of that lacrosse bro bond with Xavier?
Yeah, a little bit.
Thanks a lot.
Of course.
Bill Bergman.
Mbiti, you almost had a fumble recovery for a touchdown against Temple. What were your thoughts on that play? Could you just walk us through what you saw from your end?
Well, yeah, I saw Ray get down there, and as soon as the guy caught the ball, I saw him like hit it out, and honestly, it took a nice bounce and bounced right into my hands, and I ran it in, and I'm mad that they called it just a fumble or a muff punt, but yeah, it was cool.
Every pregame, I notice you and Croy Myers do this thing where you go over, you clap your hands, you bow, and then you do like a praying mantis. Where did that come from, and what are all the parts of this little pregame dance you have?
It's actually funny. I don't know, like, there's obviously a lot of stuff, like a lot of different trends and stuff that happened, and we kind of just, picked our pieces and we both put it together, and it turned out to be like a pregame thing, and it always gets our like blood flowing and stuff. So.
And lastly, just what are you most excited about for Saturday?
Just another opportunity, honestly. Like, personally, like obviously, like I've had my like rough beginning, and I think that like this is just another opportunity to play solid group of receivers and a very solid offense. And overall, I think it's just another great opportunity for our defense to show that like through our ups and downs, like we can be like something special. So yeah, I just look forward to just another opportunity, another chance to play a big team.
Thank you.
Wags.
Well, what's it like for the cornerback room when a guy like Deshaun Field shows up out of nowhere and makes some things happen? I mean, I honestly don't remember. I know he's played, but I hadn't noticed him before. But he showed up big time on Saturday with the sack and the big pick.
Yes, sir. It really just shows like how hard we work in that room, and just overall. But it was definitely like a proud moment for everybody, because when his time like came, and he was just ready, and it was special for sure for all of us corners. So.
One like you making the big play on the special teams, and then Elias having a pick and Deshaun having a pick. Is it nice for the cornerback room to have some highlights like that?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like I said, it's just like the overtime win, but it's a morale booster for the room. And we've always known that like we can be like great in that room, and so being able to put it all together for like each player that played is great.
And we talked about some of the growing pains of this season, but the good news is that you all are young. You're going to be around a while. I mean, you've got a couple more years in which you're just going to grow and improve. Do you look forward to, I know you don't want to look too far down the road, but I mean, can you talk about how the experiences gained here as a young guy last year and this season are help you down the road?
It's definitely great getting all that experience, and it just makes us as a defense a lot closer, that we were able to play young and experience like different ups and downs together, and so that would definitely like show up in the long run. But yeah, so.
And who are some maybe the other young guys? I mean, other than Deshaun that, are up and coming that could be helping you out? I know it's pretty much been you and Elias and Willie for now, but who are some of the other guys that may be popping their head up?
Yeah, so like you said, Deshaun, Willie, we got Matthew Peters and Andrew Duhart. So, we got the pieces and the people, and, I'm more than certain that they'll be ready if their time comes, and, if that time was, this Saturday. So, yes, sir, yeah, we'll be ready.
Thanks.
Scott Wyckoff.
And Mbiti, all you have to do is look at the schedule and you really know you've got some huge challenges ahead of you going into these final 4 weeks of the regular season. How do you feel about the team now as you guys have come through the season to this point, getting to these games and what you're looking to do?
Yeah, again, so, do our first, half of the season, we've experienced what we needed to, and we know what we need to do to work on, to come into this home stretch and win these games. But, the big thing is just taking it game by game, and, putting all the pieces together each game, and everybody, doing their job and stuff. So, yeah.
You always hear the great cornerbacks and defensive backs talk about that you have to have a short memory, but how difficult is that to have a short memory when you're out there in the speed of the game and stuff? Is it just got to get right back there and just look at that next play?
That is definitely an experience piece. You gotta like feel the emotions and stuff behind like the first mistake. But after that, you'll be, used to like all the emotions and things that go into the game. And so, yeah, that's like more adaptation and everything. And again, we've been through it all. So it's not like that big a deal.
What's it like having John Marshall in front of you every game, watching him fly around, even on plays when he doesn't make the tackle or he doesn't assist on the tackle? It always seems like he's getting his nose in there. What's it like playing with him?
He's gritty. He's a very gritty player. And he's a guy that you could just like trust all the time. He does his job. And it's just great sometimes when I just look over and, it's John making a play and I'm just like, yep, like he's in this spot again. And so, yeah, no, that's huge.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bill Bergman.
Mbiti, I like to ask a lot of the corners this question. Is there an NFL guy you kind of emulate your style off of, or a guy you just really enjoy watching out there currently?
Everybody like says it, but definitely Bill and Ramsey. When it comes to like my style, I don't really like try to compare myself too much, but when it comes to just like the mindset and like the mental part of the game, if you just listen to him talk and the way he like plays the game, that's definitely a guy like I really like, look at, and he's just like fun to watch. So
looking at the current 3 deep on the depth chart for defense, there's 18 sophomores. As a grade, do you realize, or do you guys talk about how special this could be that so many sophomores are getting so much time and are filling up this depth chart?
Yeah, we talk about it sometimes. We used to talk about it before, but we realized that there's a lot of like sophomores, and we realized like what this team can be in the future. But again, like we're worried about like the moment and what's going on now. And so, as much as you want to like look down the road and be like, oh, we're going to be like special, or we can be special, like we can do it right now. So. And
lastly, the sophomores on defense, you guys have a group chat, and if so, just what's the name of it?
As a defense, no, we don't have a group chat. Our corners group, though, it's called Steppers.
The what? Sorry, you cut out.
we could have it Steppers. I don't know who came up with it, but somebody did along the line, and that's where.
Thank you.
I got one before you go. Robert Green is your position coach. How much does it help to have someone, in your secondary corner room that played at Navy, went to naps, went through everything that you guys had to go through here, from a military and academic side, and also served. How much does that help, not only on the field, but off the field?
It helped so much off the field, honestly, because he can relate to us, like obviously on a personal level. And, that's what makes him a great coach, is just because he can relate to us. And then like on the field, obviously, because he has his experience and he's not just like a one-sided coach. He picks things from everything, and he's always watching like how certain techniques and things are like working for us, and then we'll get along the way. And so, he's just a great person, and he's a great coach.
And being a Georgia guy, I'm assuming he recruited you?
He did.
Coach, heading into Cincinnati, coming off his performance last week, it really seems like John Marshall was made to play college football in your defense. Is he almost the perfect player to play the role that he's playing in your defense?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I think, last week probably played as well as he's played in the game since he's been here. Thought we had a few guys that really played inspired football, especially those seniors. But yeah, I was real pleased the way he played. He's a smart, savvy player, and in our system, that striker position's got to be one of your most productive spots. And when he's productive, it's usually a pretty good day for us on defense.
Luke Fickell, a defensive guy like you, played defense in high school and college, was a wrestler. What is it about him that he's able to have such great offenses? Is it he's able to delegate authority, or what's it about his offenses that's so unique from a defensive mind?
I think being a defensive guy, I think he values being able to run the football. He values being a physical, tough football team. And I think that's what you see with a lot of defensive head coaches, and his team certainly reflects that. They run the ball, they possess the football. Not to say they don't throw it, because they certainly do, but they're a balanced offense. Doesn't want to have his defense on the field all the time. So he just and they're really disciplined, tough unit. I think he does a great job, and he's hired some good coaches on the offensive side of football that know what they're doing too.
What is it about this Cincinnati program that you've both scouted and coached against over the last 4 years that they've really been able to take it up to that elite notch?
Yeah, well, I think they've been really, really talented every year that we've played them. They're really good players. I think Coach Fickell does an outstanding job with the culture there, and like I said, just being a physical, tough football team on both sides of the football. I think they play complementary football. I think they're just really, really well coached.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Bill Wagner.
Coach, back with John Marshall. I mean, I really feel we need to expand on his performance. 5 pass breakups is simply phenomenal. Strauss, I know. Did you have this? Did we find out if that was a record? I don't know if that was in the notes on.
It's the most since 2000. After that, we have to go through game by game summaries, and it's not a record that's been kept in the record book in the past. So I would venture to guess it is, but I can't say that 100% factual.
Okay, well, either way, pretty amazing. What when you reviewed the film, what led to that?
Well, he's in the right place. I think he's really, really polished in the coverage piece of the things that we're doing. I wish he'd have picked off a couple of those balls. Would have 5 pass breakups is outstanding. He was all over the place. Had some tackles for a
Gave him a
loss.
hard time about that. I said 2 of them should intercept.
And what's crazy, Bill, is he's a former wide receiver in high school. So you got to catch those balls. But would have loved to.
Not only that, he made an incredible catch in the championship game that they still talk about.
Yeah. I would have loved to seen him catch that ball in the end zone. There in the OT to end it. That'd have been awesome for him on senior night. But no, he just played really, really well. Like I said, he played inspired. I thought that was as hard as he's played, as detailed as he's played. And I can't say enough good things about him. And I thought Straw, our other senior that started for us, played exceptionally well too.
Well, that's what I don't think he got credit with the pass breakup, but if you watch the film, he actually batted the ball down to Deshaun. Deshaun got that interception after Marshall knocked the ball down toward the ground.
Deshaun cut in front of Marshall. Marshall never touched that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Marshall went up for it. He
Yeah.
probably would have picked it off if Deshaun didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't bat it down, and then it came to okay.
No.
With Cincinnati, Bryant's a veteran quarterback, has been around. He was back up to Ritter for a while, and then went over to Eastern Michigan, had a good season, and looks like he's chuckling it around a bit this season. What are you seeing out of him in the passing game there?
Really good player. I think he throws the ball extremely well, very accurate. Gets the ball to his playmakers. I think you could argue he throws it better than Ritter did, a year ago. Puts in tight windows, throws a really nice deep ball. He can make all the throws, on the field. And so I think he's a really good player.
And they've always been a team that was pretty balanced offensively. I've been able to, the last few years they had Ford, the running back who's in the NFL now, the transfer from Alabama. But it looks like they're still running the ball fairly effectively. I mean, are they a balanced team?
They are, and they want to be balanced. Like I said earlier, they struggled a little bit early in the running game, in this last game, but I don't, that's certainly something they want to do. And they've got 3 really good running backs, really good up front. They present, 1-2 tight end sets, and they want to run the football. They want to be balanced, and they are effective at running it for sure.
Phil Bergman.
Coach, after watching the tape from Saturday, what really impressed you about this defense, your defense?
Well, I thought we played really hard. And I thought we had a few guys that, like I said earlier, pointing out Nick Straw, John Marshall, some of those guys I thought they played really inspired. Certainly some things we didn't execute as well as I would like, especially down the stretch in some critical situations. I thought we missed way too many tackles. And so we won the game, played well at times, but some of the mistakes that we made could have cost us dearly. We could have been on the other side of this thing real easily, so we've got to execute better. And that's been the common theme around here. We're effective stopping the run for the most part, still giving up too many big plays in the back end. So we got to get that fixed. We got to play much better this week to beat a team like Cincinnati, that's for sure.
Colin Ramos, his growth as a linebacker, he seemed to be all over the place Saturday. Just how pleased are you in his development?
Very pleased. I thought, he played a ton of snaps. Obviously Fletcher was out with a little bit of a shoulder issue. And so he filled in really nicely. Those guys have been splitting reps, but I think Colin played over 60 snaps in that game. Played extremely hard, was very, very productive. I thought his performance was up there, with Straw and John Marshall as well. So really, really proud of him. Love the way he plays. He's a hard-nosed, tough, instinctive linebacker. And but yeah, really, really pleased with him and his progress.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the first senior class that I believe they were plebes when you got here. Is that correct? So
that's correct. Yeah.
What was senior day, that moment like, seeing these guys as 17, 18-year-olds, and now they're going to their final home game?
I didn't even think about it really during the course of the game. It wasn't until, afterwards in the locker room and seeing those guys come in and us celebrating those seniors. And before the game, I know how important it was to them. And obviously, that class has a special place in my heart. They've been through a lot. They've stuck together, lost a lot of their teammates along the way. And so to see them stick it out and hang in there and get the win on senior night was special.
Thank you.
Wags.
So Deshaun Peel, kind of talk about how that evolved, that he would be playing a key role. I mean, he had not played in 4 games, I believe he told us. He played in like the first 2. And then do you know, Coach Niemot said he wasn't sure if he was even at the team hotel on Friday night. Are you aware of whether that he was?
I'm pretty sure that he was. Deshaun is a guy that we switched over from offense last year. Went through spring ball. He's really talented. Still learning the system. Athletically, he's got all the ability to play that spot for us. And he got put in the game because we had some guys get banged up. But he's a guy that's been practicing hard, hanging in there. Like we tell these guys all the time, you never know when your opportunity is going to come, so you got to be ready. And he was, and did some really, really good things. Made some mistakes as well. We got to get cleaned up, but that certainly, gave me some confidence in him and us being able to put him in the game. He's a competitor. He's physical. He can run. He's athletic. But I thought he did some really good things, and so looking forward to him continuing to get reps, continuing to get better, and he'll have more of a role moving forward for sure.
So obviously I know Elias got injured, but was Willie not available?
Yeah, Willie got banged up too, a little hip flexor issue. And then obviously Elias went out, and so got his opportunity and made the most of it.
And obviously Mbiti had you set him for a couple games, but he came back. He started this past week. I'm going to guess that he grinded and worked hard and tried to earn your confidence again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he was playing into the boundary earlier in the year, Bill, and I think the switch moving him to field suits his skill set a little bit better. I think he's a little more comfortable out there and doing some really good things. But I think he's the last 2 weeks has really played well for us. He's a guy, he works at it. It's really important to him. He's a guy that's in watching film all the time, and I've been pleased with his progress. Pleased with the way that he practices and prepares, and it's paying off for him.
So Strauss said that the Springer had 8 sacks, and I think the school record is Tyler Tidwell with something like 10 or 11. But Busic's on his way, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know where he's at, but he certainly seems like he gets one a game. But yeah, no doubt. And he'll get a few more too. But he's had a great year. He's another guy that just every week continues to get a little bit better, and we have to continue to find ways to get him on an edge, to give him an opportunity to rush the quarterback as much as we can. I'm real pleased with Busic, though.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
The record is 10 by Tyler Tidwell. Right now, we got Jacobs at 6. Scott Wyckoff.
I'm all set, Coach. Good luck in Cincinnati.
Thanks, Scott.
And Phil Bergman.
Coach, just one from me. Big picture as we enter these final 4 games of the season. What's that next step you want the defense to be taking as a whole?
Well, if we're gonna win any of these games coming up, we're gonna have to execute at a much higher level. I think we're playing really hard, and it's gonna come down to we always tell our guys that the team that plays the hardest and makes the fewest mistakes typically wins. The 2 previous weeks we made more mistakes than our opponent did, and you saw what the results were. But for us all year, it's been if we can keep the ball in front of us and not give up explosive plays, then we have a pretty good chance to win games. So it's the execution piece, making sure that matches the effort piece of things. When we get those 2 things, hand in hand, then we got a chance to win. But obviously playing some really, really good teams. Cincinnati is an excellent football team, and we're gonna have to play close to perfect just to have a chance to win this game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else for Coach? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to overlook Colin Ramos. He had 13 tackles. He was all over the place. What can you say about him? And I on the field at East Carolina, I had a friend of mine was down there, and he looked over at 44. And he said, "That guy's an inside linebacker," because he's really not that big by Division I standards. What can you say about Ramos?
Yeah, no, you're right. He's not. He's 208 pounds or so. But like I was telling Scott earlier, he's super instinctive. He plays really fast. He understands he's a little bit smaller, knows how to get his body into positions to help himself, knows the defense really well, and plays extremely hard. And been super pleased with Ramos and his development. And he's just going to keep getting better and better.
And last for me, obviously that 40-yard pass play was a real dagger, and they got 1st and goal at the 5, and it's like so deflating. But your defense didn't flinch. And that's a hell of a goal line stand to force a field goal and give your team a chance to win in overtime.
Yeah, that was a huge play. The kid made an unbelievable catch. We weren't in great position and missed a couple of tackles. And a lot of plays don't get pointed out. On that particular play, John Marshall made a game-saving tackle. Him and Joe Hudson, unbelievable effort play to get the ball tackled. We always talk about the pursuit and living to play another down, and they allowed us to do that in that situation, and we were able to force a field goal there, which was big.